Hello and welcome back to Creature Corner. If it looks a little bit different in here, I'm going to tell you why. It's because I'm painting my garage. See? So I'm going to be wrapped in plastic for the week and then painting the ceiling. So that's why it looks like the set of Dexter in here. Not that I worked on Dexter, but I would have loved to. Not much creatures in Dexter. I mean, there are monsters, but not creatures. Anyway, so that's why my place looks a little weird. Please ignore anyway. All right, we're back. Welcome. Yeah, new season of Dexter. All right, welcome back to the show. Matt Millard, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Millard. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
It's Matt. It's
Yeah,
Matt.
Have you seen what's it? The Irishman?
The Irishman.
Yeah.
I have seen. I mean, that movie's like 8 hours long.
It's close to 8 or 12
It's very
hours
long. It's like like you watch half of it and then you go read War and Peace and then you come back.
Well, there's this thing that he says, he's like, oh, so you paint houses, right? And it's like code for like killing people.
Oh, the murder.
So you're painting.
You're painting the garage.
Yeah,
Yes,
we know
very...
what you're doing. They're already finding out in the comments, dude.
Yeah.
They know. They know what you're up to.
It's sad because like I can't look at all my toys. It's like I see them, but they're covered in plastic, and they're like
you're having separation anxiety.
I'm feeling a little anxious because I don't have my toys. So we're gonna have to just make our own. So
and that is the plan.
Did you see that segue?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So back on this guy, and he's looking cool. He's looking all right. The next, the goal for at least like this session is I want to put some stuff on his back that looks like his goober head here, because I sculpted this last week and I like his goober head. He's got like a weird goober head thing going on.
Yeah, dig.
So I figured I'd continue on with the goober stuff like down the back, since there's like nothing going on down here.
Yeah, kind of keep that shape language going.
Yeah, just keep and keep it going. Maybe like it looks kind of diseased or something. So
is it gonna like follow kind of the vertebrae kind of feel?
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more like asymmetrical down the back, almost cancerous.
Ooh.
And then I need to like put some like veins and other stuff. Add some fascia to the skin. Fascia. And then I think we're that's the goal for this week. So Matt, you've got your boy that you're working on.
Yeah, I'm working on the old Cthulhu.
That's really cool. Yeah, your Cthulhu was looking great.
I've got like I said, I started this from a bunch of spheres like forever ago, and I got to this level of detail kind of like with the skin wrinkling and stuff on most of the body, but
yeah, that looks
the little wing arms hadn't really been fleshed out, so I've just been doing some kind of weird, unusual, like interpretive anatomy to kind of keep like that weird, broken but looks like it could function feel, because he does invoke madness, So
he does. It's not like you need to, look him over and be like, I buy him a coffee.
I buy him
a coffee. No, that looks
mocha laka chocolate frito.
So we're just gonna jambo out our tamblins.
Yeah, it's Tammy Jamblin time, boys and girls.
And then kick up some spooky music. Ooh.
Yeah, let's kick up some spooky music and have a couples argument about Archive 81.
Yeah, because we're both watching that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 7 episodes in, 6-7 episodes.
Okay, so I think I'm right there.
You caught up like in a flash, man.
Yeah, well, I was off work yesterday, so
okay,
I just sat down at like 7 p.m. and watch TV for a long time.
That's a lot of TV. But
You know,
sometimes like you need
Sometimes
to
just doing nothing and watching.
you gotta shut down and like just reboot.
Yeah, you turn your brain off, soak in some weirdness like a sponge.
Alex Alvarez in the house tonight.
What's up, Alex?
What's up?
Okay, what is this question here?
It's from Atreus. Atreus? Is it Atreus as in plural?
It's in multiple Atreyu.
It's
Are you
Atreyu
able
from
to
the
use the
multiverse.
same model if it needs to be turned into a rig, or what do you have to sculpt it with that in mind? That's actually a good question.
It's a good question.
I did start this model just with the intent of doing it in pose because it was a small doodle on my iPad.
Yeah.
I was like watching TV or something.
We're gonna do this. There. Nope. Bam. There it is.
I was like watching TV or something, and I was like trying to use the Forager app. And so I just started working on this little Cthulhu thing, knowing that in production, you would want to always start it in T-pose. Because what's going to happen here, as you can see, like I mentioned, I started this from like three spheres, right? So you get like pieces like this, which is just garbage. Like you would never be able to use that in production. So you would essentially take this, pose it out as much as you could, and then go back in and fill everything out, get your proper topology, etc.
They might also have a rig already ready to go, and so they'll ask for your character, whatever state it's in, and then pop that rig over it, just to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, but like starting it in a pose like this, you're gonna have to. If you want it to be like a full fun, because I actually have a rig on this thing, but just to turn it and move it around and stuff, just a little bit. It can't do anything because, like I was showing, I mean, it's just they're just little pieces.
The only thing thing that I can think of that you would want to like sculpt it in poses for toys or statues.
Right, and that was the whole.
That's the only kind of method I could think of.
That was the whole.
Even then, I would, knowing how I would build it out T-pose for as long as possible, and then, and then shop some pose ideas with them.
Yeah, for sure. So this was just a very like kind of just novel sketch that I ended up taking into ZBrush because I actually, you never sculpt in pose like this and in concept or in production. It's not really.
Also, posing isn't like that hard. Like
once you get the hang of it, for sure.
Once you get the hang of it, and you've got like some methods behind it, in which I'll show on this guy when we continue on. When we get to that stage.
Yeah.
But once you're comfortable posing, it's real easy to do.
Especially just knowing how simple a pose, like how there's not a lot required in most cases, right? Unless your character is like super known for doing like a crazy
Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
Like if you got
Spider-Man, you're gonna have like for presentation.
He's got
sake,
if you're doing
a
like
dynamic pose.
Like most of the time, because it's design, your pose is like somewhat boring. It's 3/4 turn of the head. Here I look. Because that's the design.
Look who we have in the room.
Who we have? I was just about to say.
Yeah, it's Olsen, the man himself.
It's David Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
David Olsen is our friend.
We love David Olsen.
He's our friend. And also
we got JD Smith in here too.
Newly minted instructor at Noman.
Oh yeah, that is correct.
That's right. He is a man person.
He's doing digital sets, right?
Digital sets, I believe.
And he's showing this insane MS Paint to Mario Paint workflow, like that real time.
Like straight up Play-Doh, man. You're like Play-Doh of the future. So Matt, you're watching Archive 81.
Okay, Archive
okay.
81. So
Okay.
I've seen that, maybe you're not a huge fan.
Well, here's the thing. It's like
So wait, hold on. Right. So neither of us have finished it, right?
neither of us has finished it. I don't want to like spoil anything.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't because they would come for us.
They would make us pay.
They would make us pay.
Coming for that pound of flesh.
They would ask for two.
They would ask for an extra pound of flesh for the inconvenience.
Just because we made them. But I really like the first episode. I like the first couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's gotten a little slow for me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is just like that it picks up.
See, I'm curious. Like, I'm trying to think of what episode. Have you seen all of 6? I think I've seen all of 6.
I think I've seen all of 6.
Okay.
I don't know. I like the premise. Dude, I like kind of there's some stuff in there that I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then other times I'm like,
I am, I've been appreciating kind of how spooky it is. I feel like, in my opinion, they've made it pretty spooky. Like, for me, going into the concept, the concept isn't brand new by any means.
No. It's also part of the genre too.
Right. But I also just came off of watching The Witch, so maybe I'm in slow burn mode. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And since we're on Creature Corner, the only thing I could really say that has bothered me has been kind of that kind of thing that shows up in the TV static in like the first episode.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, and
just omit that, and you've got some goodness in
that's when I was like, oh.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you kind of take on the chin, in my opinion, because it's like,
sometimes
some of the show
that
is
happens.
Actually pretty dope. Dude, it's like The Empty Man. Have you watched The Empty Man?
Yeah.
Dude, so that entire movie was tight, except for like the actual scenes of the guy running around. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. They could have just Vincent Priced that thing and left it up to your imagination, and it would have been good. But that's not to knock on anyone's work at all. But that's just another example of like,
I found
how that movie is solid, but those scenes kind of fall apart a little bit.
Yeah. It takes you out of it if the creature, like there's a bad reveal. You can get a dope reveal of a creature, and then there's the bad reveal when you're like, oh, maybe they didn't have the budget.
Dude, it's also just the quality of film around it.
Yeah.
It's so great, and it doesn't really match that level of execution.
Yeah.
That's also what you see in production a lot. It's like, oh, let's do this like, Marvel level production with like 3 guys. Doesn't make any sense. And that's what you get.
That's what you get. I mean, that's just what it is when you get there. Everybody wants Marvel level production.
Yep. Everybody wants to hang out.
But there's a show that just came out on the HBOs called The Gilded Age.
The Gilded Age.
Gilded Age, and it's basically Downtown Abbey, but in America as it's coming up during the Gilded Age.
Is it scary? Are there monsters?
No, there are no monsters. There are lots of in-period dresses.
Okay, cool. In-period dresses. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
And costumes. So, I mean, it's beautiful to look at. But, like, that's an expensive show.
Yeah, I mean, dude, anything like whatever, like era specific or what is that called? That slipped in my brain, right?
Time period.
A period piece.
Period
like
pieces.
Any period piece is just going to be like Because what I remember, Miguel on working on the Nino, like he really got one of those like Model Ts or whatever that were from that time,
That's crazy.
like renting off a whole block that has kind of that architecture that was of the period and stuff. You know, it becomes expensive.
What people don't realize about period shows is like everything has to be researched and sourced. Like they have like transportation. They have a guy who knows all these cars, and they hobble them together from collectors and collections and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of invisible work that you just don't see. You know, you're not even thinking about. Like Licorice Pizza, you know, it's a period piece, and so they had to source all those cars. You know, just for a shot where they're running down the street, all those cars have to be parked and moved and located. It's just like crazy level stuff.
And Licorice Pizza, also your favorite movie of the year, right?
Not by a long shot.
You loved it.
Not particularly. You know, there's this thing that happens when you enter any kind of creative field for a long period of time, where you may not like the thing that you're watching, but you can appreciate things about it. You know, you can like Licorice Pizza it's not my favorite movie because I don't like the characters, but the production design in the film and the cinematography is gorgeous, and the acting is incredible. It's natural, very realistic style acting. So I can appreciate all of that and still dislike the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you can pick and choose. You'd be like, well, they did great stuff here, but this part I didn't like so much. Now, creature films, segue. Creature films, they're spending all the money, you know, on the blood, the effects, and hopefully the creature reveal at the end. You know, because that's why you're there. That's why you're watching that movie.
Yeah, you want to see it.
You want to see the creature.
You want to see what it is.
So you can look at it and then be like, oh, they didn't have the budget. And you don't necessarily need like a creature that looks, you know, amazing to have a good story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hulu, for example, Hulu has a lot of horror films, and they're they're on the lower budget side, but they're really good.
Are they? Give me the best one that you've seen.
What was it? Bad Hair.
Hair.
I watched Bad Hair. I watched Treehouse. I watched Tentacles.
Okay.
And Tentacles, like the CG work is not great.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a fun movie.
That's awesome.
You know?
I mean, that's the entire point, right? Is to have fun.
Right.
I always have to remind people, I feel like, because everyone, especially whenever you get into this industry, you just become like hyper aware. It's like, you know, it's like being like loving restaurants your entire life and then going to work and realized everything's getting microwaved in a bag, right? Like once you start watching movies, you're like, oh, well, I know how they did that, and I know how they did this, and that's not impressive, you know. But you got to remember, you're supposed to have fun.
It's all hard. It's all hard to do. All of it. Everything. Yeah. Making creature films is hard. Making any movie, like, because, you know, my wife has produced some short films and web series, and I've, you know, helped produce that with her. She did the bulk of the work, but like making anything small or big is hard. It's really hard.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff that goes into it.
And it's only because of a confluence of events, you know, that just kind of happen in the right way.
It's only because of a temporal pincer movement.
A temporal pincer movement. But I'll say this, you know, a lot of horror films are doing lately is the cults. Cults cults have always been big in horror.
Cults are in, baby.
You know? Greg, what's up? The cults have like really got, you know, There's been a lot of those lately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, even back in, like Hereditary,
Yeah.
like not even, in the near distant future, past of yesterday.
There's the near distant future past.
Yeah, I got you, man. You know what I'm
Indeed,
saying?
yeah. But there's a lot of like culty horror films now.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what that's what
I'm
I'm.
wondering if it's it's in the zeitgeist right now.
I mean, it feels like it, just like whenever you get your influx of zombies and slashers, and it's all
It's this
cyclical,
it's
anyways.
this all it's all cyclical. So like we just had Scream come out, the new one. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh man, I thought you were about to say because you were special, you got to see it early. No, I haven't seen it yet. Have you heard anything about it?
Other than it's great.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Their stands as they're nice.
That's sweet. No, I've only heard good things about it, and I want to see it.
Oh, dude.
Did you ever see Scream 4, the last one?
I mean, yeah, unless I didn't see it, which is a difficult. You know what? Maybe I didn't see Scream. Yeah, because Scream 3 had Creed, right? What if I you avenged? Was that?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I don't know. It did or did not have music. I didn't.
Yeah, it did or did not. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Scream 4. Was there a Ghostface killer in it?
There is.
Okay.
And it's great. It's actually really good.
Very nice.
So I recommend Scream 4. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
Come out and say it.
The man loves Scream 4.
Oh, you didn't see this, but I got a NECA. I got a little ghost face here. See, look at the look.
Dude, nice. Indeed.
Ghostface is fantastic though.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Okay, question. Do either of you have a background in old school way of sculpting and molding things? Did we start digitally? We both started digitally. I worked at in-house at Legacy Effects for like a year and a half. So I got to watch them with their sculpting molding process. I keep up on all the techniques of how they do that. I have not attempted it. Like I'd like to attempt it with, some of my 3D prints and stuff. But there is, I think, a lot, like exponentially, a lot more that you need to know than digital. Like digital, I don't know. It's easy to pick up. Easier.
Well, yeah, it's easy to pick up because you're not like really in the real world. It's just like sculpting,
Yeah.
I mean? Like I was sculpting in clay for a couple of years before I went to Noman, and going into ZBrush was like, what is happening right now? Like.
But I tell you, you look at practical effects, when you're in the room with it, and because they built a practical Wendigo for antlers. And they were doing tests on it. The movie's out now, so I'm sure it's okay for me to at least talk that they had a practical creature. But they were doing mechanical tests with it, and at one point, they would it would like move and it would look at you.
Ugh.
And that's when I had like that aha moment.
Yeah.
Of like why it's so powerful. And I talked about that with the guys who work there, and they're like, yeah, this is it. There is something that happens. Like it does create feeling, like it has presence, and when they start puppeteering it and they start working in tandem and making it all move together, it feels like it has its own presence. It feels alive.
Man. And I mean, in parallel, like you can tell that it's just in camera. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't take you out at all. Like CG, that is your job, is to make it look like it was in camera, right? And
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
really hard.
to people like us, like, I mean, we can easily tell whenever we watch anything if it's a matte painting, if it's a body double or whatever it is, and you know, ultimately it's animation that's always gonna kill that, other than compositing and stuff like that. But seeing like just a practical, like no matter how it looks, you're like, oh, that was on set, that was there,
Yeah.
that was interacting, you know.
You can tell, you can see it. My favorite thing though is to watch content with people who are not in the industry at all,
Yeah.
understand it at all.
Hmm.
That's your real gauge
Big
of
time.
like how it looks. My father-in-law, for example, he's a former cop, former sheriff. So, you know, visual effects, he does not, you know, push button, make creature.
Animated Disney.
Yeah. And you know, like, what do? You're an animator. Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you work in animation. So you made that. You
Mhm.
made all of that. Like, well, no, I work at this part of making that.
Okay, so you didn't do the whole thing.
So you didn't do well, what I did, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what conversations are like. But watch it with someone who, you know, has no idea, and you'll understand like whether it passes, you know.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's just like music, you know, because a lot of the times musicians and artists, we get in our craft and we end up making art and music for artists and musicians, but
Yeah.
really, like, you know, the audience is the listener or the viewer, right? You've got to sell them.
And I think we're willing to forgive a certain amount of, you know, does it look real? Does it not look real? You know,
Yeah.
If it serves the story, and that's really what it always comes down to.
And also, it's just like you're saying, like we're victims of our trade, because the things that bother us don't bother other people. You know? Like you see the background in a movie and you're like, oh man, that black point's off, that doesn't look real at all. And you know, your friend's like, oh wow, that looks really cool. And you're like, well,
well, let me tell you why you're wrong. Which you never want to do, by the way. You don't take other people out of it. You know, if they're enjoying it, you just go, cool.
Of course, dude.
You know, Debbie Downer. Treyus is asking, we're getting the ZBrush or Blender question again, and I think we have to talk on a board how many times we get ZBrush Blender questions.
ZBrush or Blender?
Well, he's learning Blender, which is kind of like if anybody wants to learn 3D, I think it's great. Go in and learn Blender because it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but if you are going to get serious about like wanting to do digital, you got to learn ZBrush.
Well, I mean, sculpting. Like,
yeah.
Every studio is going to have ZBrush in its
in
its pipeline. Every single one.
And that may change in a few years. You know, who knows? But I don't see that changing anytime soon.
No, I mean just the stuff you can do in the software. You know,
it's pretty nuts.
It's insane. You know, I mean I was like doing chainmail on a character earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, you drag it out and it just fills up the model. I was like, I could do this in Maya, but it would take me way longer.
Well, we'll have to do some creatures with some clothing and stuff. When we move into like sci-fi land, we'll do some creature clothing. You know, if we do like some Star Wars stuff.
Dude, yeah, Star Wars would be fun.
Okay, so I think now's a good time to version up, and we're going to start doing some nasty stuff on his back.
We love nasty stuff.
Let's see. Pull my Let's load. Milky Wilkinsons. All right.
Adam chimes in. Somebody say Star Wars?
So, Star Wars. Is it Star Wars? Is it Star Wars?
Dude, the Mando concepts you've been putting out, Adam, are awesome, bro.
Yeah, man, those are great.
It's really, really cool seeing those get executed.
Adam took my class. Take my class. So, Star Wars. Jaina, hello, welcome. Ashley's like, are you guys? Ashley asks, are you worried about Maxon recently acquiring ZBrush? And did they buy out Pixelogic or ZBrush software? They bought Pixelogic essentially. So now I'm Maxon like ingested them like a delicious ham sandwich.
Dude, you know there's ham and mustard at
Ate
least.
them with mustard. Am I worried about it? Not particularly. Partially because software companies just get bought out. That's what they do. You invent a piece of software, someone else comes along, bigger fish, and they ingest it. So that's kind of the history of software in general, is like just getting eaten alive.
Yeah, and I think personally, as like not as a company, it does affect us, but it's not going to affect us like it will corporate licenses and stuff like that.
Yeah, like big studio licenses
Yeah.
might change, or I think ultimately it's good because it means more money for development for the software. My hope is they put more developers on it, so we can retool some things that like are just kind of built in there. There's a meme. I don't know if you've ever seen it. A programmer goes to work at a software company, fixes the bug that bothers him, and then puts in his 2 weeks. So so that's what I think is probably going to happen. Is some developers going to go in and be like, oh, thank God I just fixed that.
Dude, I feel like that's something that Max Dion would do.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you know what? I've been asking for this feature for 10 years. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go launch it.
Go work here. I'm just gonna go work with it and then go home. And then that's it. So I feel like that's probably what's gonna happen. Like I want proper HuSat value, and I want some real-time PBR stuff,
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool.
So that's what I would like. But like I hope the core of what ZBrush is doesn't change, because it's a unique. The way it works is so unique. Okay, so I'm gonna just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clone it.
What are you gonna do, Jared? Tell us what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna
dupe. Clone it.
I'm gonna dupe just in case, because I get you get paranoid.
Oh, dude, love
I'm gonna
being
dupe.
paranoid.
So I'm gonna dupe, but I'm gonna do some like. Since I'm gonna feature this guy, I'll show. Okay, so I've got. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start pulling some spinies out.
Some spinies.
Spinies. Once you got like a basic body shape and body torso, then dupe it out and start playing with some ideas. I want to he needs that third element, something to make him cool. And so I was thinking, he's subterranean, maybe he's like a little cancerous.
Okay.
Looking,
Maybe he's a little cancerous. He's not feeling too good.
What if they, what if they were underground, underneath like a nuclear reactor? They've been staying there for the warmth. But it forces them to look a little cancerous or a little gross. Yeah, I think people people are going to be passionate about stuff. Like anytime something changes, people are going to have strong reactions to it.
Yeah, of course. Like Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Oh God, yes. Remember when Heath Ledger
Was Batman?
Joker? That was a huge uproar.
Oh, dude, I know, man. Like anytime anyone gets cast, especially in superhero movies, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they didn't pick Chris Pratt to voice every other character in Super Smash Brothers."
But it's like, we've had like 900 iterations of said character. Let them do whatever the hell they want. You've got
do whatever the hell we want.
You've got so many great interpretations. Like, let somebody try something. For God's sakes. So he's got some spinies now, and I'm gonna start doing like some lumpies on his back.
Dude, you going to Lump Town, bro?
I think like his head's got some lumpies, so I think I was gonna go to Lump Town.
Love me some lumpies.
I'm gonna do them symmetrically first, and then break it. You know how I do that thing, but I think some lumpies might like break up the shape of the back a little bit. Might add some like interest. There's some reference that I have. I'm gonna pull up your guy in the meantime while I pull up this reference.
That's cool. I'm just doing like some connective tissue in between this basic anatomy or basic Tim Tam on the flim flapper.
Connective tissue is so fun to do.
Oh yeah, it's just a little back and forth. Little back and forths.
The little left and rights.
A little left and rights. It's like a candy we used to eat in the 90s.
Cuddle lumps. Cuddle with my lumps.
Lumpy McCudlinsons.
Cuddle with my lumpings disease. Ah, yes. We had music at some point.
Yeah, put on some Slayer.
I can't do that.
Sorry, not you.
It would be mad, wouldn't they? Matt Millard hanging out with Cthulhu.
What we got? Hello, everyone. His Cthulhu Cuddle Lumps.
Lumps
is really good. It's like a cuddle. It's like a cuttlefish.
It's like a lump that you want to like hug.
You want to hug that lump.
Give that lump a big old hug.
It's getting weird, and I'm into it.
We've already lost our minds.
Yeah, we have devolved into madness.
It's what we always wanted.
But yeah, just that little breakup in between your forms, man. I mean, it's always doing the work you need it to do.
I am looking at some horrible stuff right now.
I don't doubt it, man. You used to really upset me at 9 a.m. at ASC. I'd come in and there'd be some stuff. The first desk you see, it's just the worst thing you've ever seen. And it's like, God, Jared, I haven't even drank my coffee, man. You're like, yeah, man, well, this and this. And I'm like, ah.
You're like, ow.
I'm going to go smoke 10 cigarettes.
Let me tell you. Because I was looking for some lumpies, and I've got some lumpies. It's like the right kind of lumpy.
Doctor, I've got some lumpies. Well, let's see what you're working with, Jared.
Oh, God. Half of this stuff is like not appropriate for humans. This guy's kind of appropriate. We can grab that guy. I gained that, the ability to look at horrible stuff because my dad was a doctor and he showed me a bunch of horrible stuff. And that's why I'm messed up.
Dude, nice.
It's so sick. It's so sick. Oh, where'd it go? But my dad had a curiosity around illness. He was particularly interested in like Civil War medical oddities. People that
People that were in the Civil War that had oddities.
well, they were in
Like
the Civil
Phineas
War.
Gage?
They got half their face blown off.
Ah,
How are they still alive? Kind of
right.
stuff. And it's amazing, what they were able to do with they didn't even know that they weren't, were supposed to wash their hands.
Yeah, just like screws, metal, and cocaine, man. They just made it work. Drink some whiskey about it. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Here, do this cocaine. Have 10 cocaines. You'll feel great. And somehow they survived.
Traditional sculpting is used in the industry all of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially by makeup houses and, literally anywhere like that. You're gonna have both usually, right? But it is still very much a part of it.
Like even Disney, they'll have sculptors come out and do maquettes and stuff. So he was saying Tom Savini was a Vietnam photographer. That explains a lot.
Oh yeah, dude. That's why whenever like Friday the 13th came out, dude, his interviews are insane.
Tom Savini is
his interviews are
incredible.
Insane. I met him at a Monster Palooza a couple of years ago. Really cool guy.
You just gotta love the man, and there's something like about the monster sculptor, like a person that does this. They look at like horrible stuff all day. They're just like the nicest people. Like,
speak for yourself.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, they really are, dude. Like everyone's always been so chill.
They're just like, yeah, they're chill and like.
That is a good stereotype, though. It's accurate, I would say.
It's like you just look at horrible stuff all day, and you're working on monster movies. What's better than that?
Nothing.
There we go. So getting some lumpies now.
Going to Lump Town.
Did I freeze? Am I still here?
I can hear you, and I believe you, but nothing is
Did you see
happening.
my guy wiggling?
He's not wiggling.
Oh no! Oh dear. Okay.
He's not wiggling.
My guy wasn't wiggling.
Do you ever do robots or mechanical style things? Yes, we do. Jared, I don't know if he's ever done a robot before. Have you ever done?
Never done a robot.
Never done robots?
No, don't do them. Don't do robots.
Strictly no robot zone.
Never. Oh, you know what? I may have done a robot.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Did I do a robot? I don't know. I should think about doing a robot.
Robots would be nice, something to get into. You should start with Mechagodzilla.
It's been a year since that trailer came out.
Dude,
yesterday,
it literally feels like 5 years ago.
It was like 5 years ago. So much has happened.
Oh man, did Godzilla vs. Kong come out last year?
That came out the beginning of last year, after being delayed a year.
Man, that was a long wait for that one.
That was a wait and a half.
Remember whenever the trailer dropped and it showed my dude getting his butt kicked, I was like, oh yeah. And they were really, really good at being secretive about that mecha reveal.
Yeah, it was
minus the toys.
Minus the toys. It's always
every time. Always the toys.
Except for Turtles, where it was the Halloween costume. And, oh my God, people lost their shit. People lost. Your shit.
Bloodborne rules.
Bloodborne does rule.
I have, I know that David Olson's in here lurking around somewhere. I do have to clarify, I have not beaten Bloodborne, but I have played it quite a many times. I did recently beat Dark Souls 3, though.
You beat it already?
Yeah, man. You know how we like to do things around here.
Did you play it on easy?
There is no difficulty setting in From Software games. It's just hard.
It's just punishment and anguish. Okay.
Someone's asking about much involvement with the toys. The only thing I can say is that, sometimes you do get the contact like, hey, so and so, in my case it'd be like Walmart. They're like, oh, they want to make toys and they need a deliverable model or a deliverable design model that they'll take and do whatever.
Yeah, we don't have any like input on the toys. That comes under whoever gets the license.
Right.
So, they usually have a bid out. Toy company X says we can get so many toys to market by this time period if we have the model by this point. And so the studio goes, okay, you can make the most toys, in the time that we need at this price point. So it's logistics and management. And when we work on stuff, at point where concept gets green check mark, they say, hey, here you go. We like this. And it's usually when the director signs off. The director has to sign off, and then there are people at the corporate level, creative executives, production designers, producers, the parent company has to sign off. So, like, if you're working on a Marvel movie, Disney, executive, has to sign off at a certain level. So when something gets made, it's not just that there's a couple people, signing off on this thing. It goes through tiers and tiers of higher up executives who are looking at this and deciding, can we make money off of this? Is it worthwhile to make toys? Sometimes if they feel like there's not a big enough market for it, they'll do a limited run of toys from X company. Tiers and tiers, it's true. So when you see something made into a toy, just know that that's gone through levels of yeses to get there. And that's very hard to do. So as a concept artist, I've always come at it with the perspective that your work is going to be seen by lots of people who are signing off at various levels. And so it's very hard to get anything through. And as a designer, you also kind of have to think of it like a product. You are selling to a mass audience. You are working for a company and selling to a large audience about their IP that they own. And so they're going to spend a lot of money on it. And so what tends to happen is the simplest design tends to, what I've noticed, go through. It's like it has to be simple. It has to be easily digestible. That's at least on big IP. You're working on a product, somebody else's product.
Yeah, it's always somebody else's product. That's
always
sure.
Somebody else's product. Unless it's your product, and in which case, then you can make whatever the hell you want.
Whatever the hell you want.
Yeah,
it's always cool whenever you're working in design and you deliver your model to VFX, because then you're like, well, they have the exact landmarks and everything that they need to stay faithful to the design if production sees fit, because sometimes you'll do screen tests and the model won't look right here or there and they'll have to change this, or they'll refine that. And I mean,
and they're doing
concept models, you know what I mean?
They're doing dailies as well, with the final model. So
they're doing dailies, like double dailies.
Double down dailies.
They're doubling down on their dailies, boys. That's what they like.
It's and they are scrutinizing every aspect of your model and design, and
every pixel.
Every pixel, and they go like, well, is this worth it? Why does this not work? Or should we do something like this or that? So it goes through layers, and that's why, as a concept artist, you're never sure that what you've done is going to make it at all.
Yeah, like maybe they ran out of budget on your contract and they'll just have someone else finish it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll show it to the next company and be like, don't do this at all. You know what I mean?
Had that happen.
Yeah.
That happens as well. They're like, this is the example of what not to do. And you're like, they won't tell you that. They'll be like, great job.
Yeah.
You really did awesome. And then they're like, this is terrible. And artists, we all know each other.
It's true.
But yeah, were you ever able to argue to keep a particular detail in a design you were very proud of?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't think it's so much. I don't think it's so much that it's you pitch ideas, and it's not your job to like really fight for something. It's your job to execute what they're asking for. So I always think of it like you're the chef, and they're ordering off the menu.
My dog is drinking water.
If something hasn't worked, then you go, okay, let's try something else, because they're the decider. You're not the decider. One day, we might be the deciders, which would be rad.
Mm-hmm.
Get to make cool choices. But ultimately, you are there to serve at the pleasure of the director.
Yeah, man, and that's why that's such a good question, because a lot of times, people think that we have some sort of like crazy control over it, and we totally don't. We give them our ideas, but I will tell you, you can be tricky, and sometimes being tricky will work. You throw in like 3 versions of the same design, but one of them has that one little thing that maybe they were like, oh, I don't like that. And like, oh, I forgot to change it. I forgot to take the spikes off of my dude's back. And then the director sees it, it's like, ooh, I like the spikes. Sometimes it'll work. So, you do have to trust your intuition, but, you don't want to challenge your client like that just because of the relationships that you need with them.
And they're having those battles on their own.
On every level. Yeah.
On every level about everything. The director, I don't think people really understand what it is. It's answering a lot of questions, and it's answering a lot of questions and deciding, like, every decision you make. The director has to know every inch of the script. They have to know every part of the world, because someone's going to be like, well, why this? And he's like, well, this is part of the world where we do this, and we zoom in, and we're going to see it going, and then we're going to be like, that's the director. They have to know every part of that movie, inside and out. Levels of approval and get creative ideas to talk. Looking artist. Whenever you're tired of lots of levels of approval and get ready to get back to raw creative ideas. I like that. I have lots of ideas. projects that I've developed over the years. Everything from children's animated TV, adult animated TV, movies, TV shows. We're gonna get one of them through at some point. I'm writing a script right now, which is very challenging. My second feature script that I've tried to write. Now, writing is a whole other side of your brain. But yeah, at some point you're selling a product to somebody, and when it does when it makes it to toy, when it makes it on screen, it is the coolest feeling in the world.
Yeah,
because because you know how hard it is to get something through. So when you get something through, it is it's amazing.
Yeah, like the Rampage Ralph toy. I mean, it's my ZBrush sculpt.
Yeah,
made by Layered Toys. You know what I mean? That blew my mind. I was like, holy crap, dude.
What's fun? I don't know if you experience this, but I get sense memory. When I'm working on stuff, like I remember decisions I made in the moment.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Dude. Like why would I make this? And so when I look at the toys, I'm like, I remember making that decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it is decision making. You are, designing is like finding an idea and sticking with it.
Yeah, and you're making them all on the fly too, and you just kind of have to have confidence. And if you're unsure about something, you move on to somewhere else, and then you come back a little while afterwards, and
I think that's
then
kind
you
of
get the fresh eyes on it.
The magic of it as well. Of like, I think that's why the process is so mysterious to us. There's a little bit of magic in there. Sometimes when I'm working, I feel possessed by the soul of a better artist. Like suddenly I feel confident and everything's going amazing. And then other days I'm struggling. Like, do I even remember how to do this?
Yeah, man, some days you feel it and some days you don't, but it is interesting how it all ends up kind of just working out if you just commit. If you just commit, something will come of it, especially just learning from your mistakes and learning from where it was and where you were trying to take it, all of that stuff.
Doing what you say you're going to do, I think as well. Like finishing what you start. Is a great way to like make progress. Like it's very, very easy to abandon projects because there's always something new and shiny.
Yeah, especially if they're big. If they're really big, you can overwhelm yourself. You'd be like, oh yeah, I can make these. I can make this very intricate scene. I can do that. And then you're like 2 weeks in and you're like, wow, dude.
This is going to take forever.
This is going to take a long time.
This is going to be the worst. Yeah. It's so the time management is also a part of that. But like, do what you say you're going to do. Finish what you say you're going to finish. That's why that's why I'm painting my ceiling this week. It's because I've been wanting to paint this for like 3 years.
Painting my ceiling.
I'm painting my ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been wanting to do this for years, and I'm finally doing it.
Substance painter give you the quality of Mari? That's a good question. No. No,
Mari is like Mari's like.
I will. I'll say no. Just for that reason. Like, I use substance.
He uses substance.
I am a substance user.
This guy uses.
But dude, if you want like to, you can't view your real-time stuff in 8K. You can't do it.
Yeah.
They did just get, like the UDIM support, which is incredible, and it makes my job so much easier in production. But for instance, if you're doing something with like 400 8K tiles, that's a submarine with nuclear missile launcher on it, and it's a hero asset for some crazy movie, you're not doing that in Substance Painter.
No way.
You're not there. You would have to break it up into, and I mean, you might have to do the same thing in Mari, but just the fact, the resolution, the capability of the software.
I mean,
you're asking, I'm taking it as a very technical question. I have done, a lot of very successful things in Substance.
I mean, theoretically, you could start in Substance, move that over to Mari anyway.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, yes, yeah, you can do that. It is.
I mean, it
is difficult though. It for some reason it is, just because of importing UDIMs as opposed to exporting UDIMs in Mari is a little more difficult.
Because you have to store them, or there's some kind of like channeling system, or right?
Yeah, that's actually another thing is, Mari, the color space support that Mari has. I mean, you can bring in animated cameras, animated models. You can do all of this crazy stuff in Mari. Substance Painter, man, you can do some serious work in there. I haven't been impressed by the actual painting in it, but the procedural stuff, I mean, it's just God tier. You can spend 10 minutes and you've got something that, looks great. And you go in and finesse.
They're all heading that way anyway. All softwares, Quixel, Mixer, and other things. Marmoset has texturing, like Substance style texturing in it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Herman was showing that stuff on his stream.
Dude, that's
and
crazy,
it's awesome.
bro.
It's just so rad.
That's crazy. Like right in the renderer. That's wild.
It's all, they're all, what I feel is like all renderers tend to be converging anyway. Like they're all moving to real time, texturing within the program itself, and then, using Megascan's assets and, stuff like that. But you know what we'll always need creature sculptors.
Just got to make some monsters every now and then, man.
Make some monsters, people.
It's the purpose of life.
I believe the monster is so important. It's important to our health.
It's important to society.
I have not used Mixer or Marmoset. I bought Marmoset after watching Josh Herman use it, and I have not picked it up since. Which, I should probably do that. I might do it for this guy. We'll see. But I'm having a lot of fun. Just so we'll do a little check-in here, because we're at our 9:00 check-in.
Is it a 9:00 there? What time is it here? It is 11:00 for me.
So, it's late for you. So now, am I frozen again? It's like when I go big, I get frozen.
Sub-Zero.
There we go. All right. So I've added like a row of like kind of cancerous blobs in the back there. It's more or less just kind of big, like really thick, tough skin.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Almost has like an armadillo kind of feel.
Yeah, very close to armadillo. So it could be protective.
Oh God, I just saw your reference images.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is neurofibromatosis or elephantiasis.
Yeah.
This guy's actually got like fur, like actual fur on his back. But yeah, this one's fun. Poor guy. Yeah, so that's where we're at with this. And I did have the skin wings in there, so I could probably do some work on these too.
Oh, yeah, see, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I like that. What about, have you tried maybe at the knees? What does that look like? Does that look weird?
If I did like one like webbing
Yeah.
at the back of the knee, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. I haven't, but let's do it.
Yeah, he could be a gliding nightmare.
A glide mare.
Glide mare.
Glide
There you
mare.
go. We've got it. It's a
We
glide
got
mare.
it. That's it.
We've got it, people. Also, this is how 80% of Jared and I's things go.
Yeah, pretty much.
One of us says something, we match it with something else. We're like, that's perfect.
It's perfect. All right, Matt, why don't you take us through where you've been?
Oh, dude, I'm just doing some,
You just
I'm
uh,
in noodle zone, man. I'm doing this kind of stuff right here. This just little connective tissue, because I'm trying to bring it up to the level of these legs here.
isn't that fun when you put a detail somewhere and you're like, this looks great, and then you have to put it everywhere.
Yes, that shape language. And there's 100 different ways to do this. And, I guess the concept flow critique will be like, oh, why don't you use like some alphas or sculpt your own VDM or something? It's like, well, I know what this is for. This is for a collectible. This is for a very large scale sculpture. And I want to make it my own. I want to like noodle around on it and get every little detail the way I want it. You know what I mean?
So sometimes you do need to just go through it and just sculpt the whole thing by hand.
Yeah.
It's there's a consistency and it feels good.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You have a relationship with every aspect of it instead of dragging and dropping alphas. You know what I mean?
And what I've found is that I end up just having to sculpt on top of alphas anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. Depending on the turnaround.
The only time I use them now is like scales. I think scales are the best way. But like most hand details, I'm just going to sculpt, myself.
I've got a handful of skin textures that I'll use if I need to slap something around, or if like I need a crack in a skull or something. I'll just drag a crack out and be like, okay,
you just drag a crack out.
Drag a crack out. I'm a substance user.
Drag a crack out.
I told you.
Yeah, like for the back, I have a Boyle's brush that I've already, made for various projects. But this is just like too fun to not sculpt.
Yeah,
you gotta
get that language in there, and then you just have some fun with it.
Don't overthink it, for God's sakes. Just do the thing.
Yeah, especially if you're working for a client, don't overthink it, man. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it and send it off. There's no reason.
Don't agonize over it
until you're at like the very last stage. You're like down to, well, how large are the pores here? Like that, just slam something in there.
Just slam it, damn it. Slambo.
Slambo Jamersons.
Gross. Got like really gross things on his back.
I've got a couple of gross things on my back.
I know a little something about growths on my back. I mean, the creature's back. There's nothing wrong with my back. It's perfectly fine. It's not a big deal, Matt.
I don't believe in big deals, Jared.
I make the biggest deals.
I make the best deals, make the biggest deals.
I make the...
Russia, China, Russia, China, Russia. Big deals.
We would have been intolerable. Thank God, because we would have been really intolerable.
That's a good time. Good time to be around.
Yeah. Humans are doing great. What kind of loot would Frightmare drop? I think he would drop
bloodstones, some sort of
a multivitamin,
blood. Some sort of blood. Yeah, Flintstones, but it's just blood.
It's just
bloodstones.
We are Flintstones, blood. Yeah, probably like the blood of the elders, the elder gods.
I don't know. See, is elder blood, huh?
The elder bloods.
Because I'm an elder dude over here.
You got an elder dude?
Yeah, dude, I have the most elder guy around.
My guy is not really. He's not eldritch. He's just a subterranean, cancerous, simian bat squirrel.
So here's the segue. Here's the segue. Are you not feeling a Lovecraftian vibe from Archive 81?
Oh no, I'm definitely getting it. I mean, I'm a little bit ahead of you. I think.
I don't think you're ahead of me. I think
I'm ahead of you.
I think I just watched the 7th episode.
You watched 7 episodes?
I think that's what I just watched before we came on here.
Now I have to check how many episodes I've watched.
Okay, well maybe it was the 8th episode, Jared. Maybe I watched the 10th episode, Jared.
There's 10? You finished
Maybe I watched the 15th episode, Jared.
There's not 15.
Well,
you're a liar. Okay, so I'm 3/4 of the way through episode 8. Oh, you know what I did? I did the thing.
Okay, so you're gonna be like that.
I'm crashing.
Oh, you're in the bad zone.
I'm in the bad zone. I'm in the gray screen of wait.
Dude, just let it live. Let it live. Bro. You gotta live.
You gotta let it live.
It's like the Beatles, man. You just gotta let it be, dude.
See, and if you let it be, that's because I hit the undo again.
Yeah, but Jared, if you let it be with like
yeah, let it be
$1,000 computer, you'll be all right.
You'll be okay.
Dude, there was this one time, I kid you not, I was doing a grooming job earlier last year. Okay, I'm making these teddy bears for a Ralph Lauren commercial. And I'm working from home. And there's this slider, what we're using. I was using Yeti on the groom. And there's like an input value. It's like, hey, what's your hair multiplier, right? And I kept it at like I can't remember if it was like 3 to 5 or like 30 to 50. I can't remember what it was. I was working like low res and then multiplying it render time. And I had been working for like 8 hours and I accidentally hit that extra 0 and it went to multiply the hair like 350 times. And dude, Maya just like froze and I was like, oh shit. Well, I'm going to wait. I was like, dude, I made enough progress. But I was like, well, I'm just going to wait because it was really late. I think I was on like a 10-hour shift or 11-hour shift at the time. And I woke up the next day, like 8 hours later, woke up, get out of bed, look over at my computer. And right as I look at it, it's like, bing, finished. Like, I was like, what? I let it think overnight. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. See, I just did it again.
See, Jared, you gotta calm down, man. You gotta calm down, man.
I give too much.
Did you give?
I give.
I give. I give. You know I give. What does he say? Todd in IT? He gives.
He gives.
Hold that
camera guy. He gives. I feel like we've had no information on a season 3, so I'm starting to get antsy. I'm like getting itchy.
Dude, season 1 came out like years ago.
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, dude. Hey man, genius takes time.
It does. It's true. And they can take as long as they want. But
Cthulhu definitely wants corn nuts. Big time. He's like, bro, I've been sleeping so long. Is there a gas station around here? Like, can I get some corn nuts? Jared, I think you need to share your screen, brother.
I can't.
Well,
I can.
It's too late.
It is. We're in the
danger zone.
We're in the sad place.
Oh no! And the sad place.
Well, what I'm going to do is, because I accidentally rewound in my undo history.
Oh, in your history? I think you did that.
I had that problem last time.
Yeah.
I'm going to resolve it. But there is a. Do you know if there's a button for that for the undo history, like to show the undo history?
To show it?
To show it?
To hide it? You mean? I think you can like hide the
There we go.
timeline or something, right?
You can hide the timeline, which I have. So I like.
You can try hiding your feelings. I do that all the time.
Stuff it down way deep, baby.
I stuff it down way deep.
So like undo history. If there's a see, there's no like hide undo history. Oh wait, show undo select. Oh, there is. Look at that.
Oh, look at
Oh
you,
my God. So this is what I do every time I discover a new button. I'm gonna dock it. Undo selector. Hello, new friend.
I gotta tell you, Jared, those growths on the back of your guy look pretty upsetting.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
You know how I feel when stuff is like personally disturbing to my friends.
Oh, dude, that's the only way forward.
You know, because like, yeah, if it messes with you, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks fucking gross. Whoops. Sorry. It looks gross. Man.
It's not for kids.
It's not for kids.
It's not for kids. This is the after hours show.
Yeah, I mean, kids aren't up at 11 p.m. my time.
They're not like they get cranky.
But then again, I don't know any kids. That's not true. I know a couple.
You know a kid.
My sister's got kids.
You've met my kid.
You've got a kid. Your kid loves giraffes, zebras, and.
Oh wow! That was old. That's old, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was back in the day, brother. Come on.
That was back in the day. No, he likes Marvel now.
Dude, gosh, that is awesome.
Dude, it's such a better stage to be at than.
Actually, you know what? I remember that. I remember going to his birthday.
You went, yeah.
I went to, not this year, but I think last year.
He was just getting into that.
And he was like, I like Venom.
Yeah, he loves Spider-Man right now. Spider-Man is where it's at.
That's great, dude.
We're going to store this configuration. So whenever I find a button that's working that I like, you got to save it out. Save out save out your new space. I'm going to even, because it's a new year, I'm going to even save up. Bam. Now I've got the undo selector. I am never going to push that again. Ah! So yeah, now he's got these like upsetting little boils on his butt.
Yeah, that's and I mean,
and I just figured they'll be like kind of pustule, kind of.
That's just heinous, man. Like every
maybe there's like a little like yellow milky liquid inside.
That is so gross.
It's like if you.
What do they do? Why are they infected like that? What is it?
Well, I mean, they've been living underground underneath a leaking radioactive facility.
Oh, they're radioactive.
Yeah, they're radio. I figured we'll just go with radioactive. Maybe I could like figure out a spot for some glow on the chest. Or maybe the eyes are irradiated, something like that.
Okay.
I just I like eco horror. I like it when there's like man playing with God's creation.
You just like watching men play.
I like watching men. Really, just I like watching men. I like watching men. We're
pushing it to the edge.
I like watching the man's hubris in action.
I just watched a movie called Dragged Across Concrete.
I've heard of that. Was it good?
No. And that is my review.
You know what? I love our honesty. And I would,
dude, I tell you, man, okay. So I mean, just check it out. I'm not trying to walk any weird lines here, but it's got Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn in it, and they're both these kind of like I'm a screw-up cop. We used excessive force, but we're both poor and we need money to support our families.
They
We're
got to take one last
suspended.
job.
Yeah, they're
Do they take
suspended.
one last job?
They got to become criminals to propose to my girlfriend and cure my
We're turning over
my
a
sick
new
wife,
leaf. Let's go
right?
commit more crimes. I love
right.
it.
Yeah, and get this: Mel Gibson plays, not far from imagination, a racist police officer.
No.
Dude, it's in like 2018 or 2019, bro. Like, and
He
you
just
know
got-
what? He nails it. he really does, man.
He's
nails it.
pulling from sense memory.
The wow, they're writing. Oh God, dude, and it's almost 3 hours long. So yeah, dude. I like also
3
how
hours.
Yeah, I like how we haven't talked about like any creature related stuff.
But we're also working on we're also working on creatures, so it's okay, right?
I think it's okay.
I think I'm switching us off. There we go. Dude, that looks gnarly. I love it. I'm loving all the connective
You
tissue.
digging it?
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got the this is the original print without the wings from like way back in the day.
I remember
You know.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah.
he's gonna be.
I am so excited for this.
He's gonna be a big man.
What 3D printing has really done is take a lot of my money.
Yeah. My printer shows up on Friday.
That's so exciting.
I'm pretty excited.
You gonna name it?
I'm gonna name it Timothy Dalton, the best James Bond that ever lived. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, man. Best James Bond.
We've talked about this, but I'm firmly in Pierce Brosnan.
I mean, dude, he takes
I
a
love
cello
and
and turns it into a sniper rifle. What are you gonna do about that? He was only in 2 James Bond movies. Nobody liked him. But I die on this hill.
He was a great James Bond.
Is there any film feature you would love to take a stab at for a film? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the question is like, okay, do you want to? Are we talking about like slashers? Like, what do we want to do? What genre do you want to hang out?
I think I don't know. It's a tough question because do I want to take a stab at every single thing that is
it is awesome? Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes.
I think
every time you work on something or you find out like what you're working on and it's something cool, you're pooping your pants. It's amazing.
I love pooping in my pants. I do it at least twice a week. And
highly recommend.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like taking an ice bath. You know, you guys been reading about this on Reddit, I'm sure. Take the ice bath. They don't tell you that they poop their pants. And that's the gold right there.
No one tells you that.
It's insider secret.
Insider secret.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. I mean, we kind of talked about this last time with dream projects, but you know, maybe in 5 years, whenever I'm rebooting Resident Evil,
there you go.
I'll take a stab at all those characters and actually bring them to life. I think if they were going to remake From Beyond, I would be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some number one shit right there. I you know, some people might naturally think I would say Hellraiser, but I would say that Hellraiser's top tier, and I think the only direction they can go is the direction they're going now with the female lead. Mm-hmm. We had Doug Bradley, man. We had the Hell Priest. Like, leave it at that.
He was perfect.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, perfect. I mean, like
iconic,
monster level, dude. Like, what are you gonna do about that?
Like, I think
those movies, all of those movies are so bad, and you get 10 minutes of Pinhead saying the most incredible stuff, and you're like, wow, worth it.
I think I think if I had my shot, I would do Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Dude, I know that you love.
I have a love affair with that creature.
Yeah.
But not only that, I want to shoot the biopic about the designer of the.
I know, right?
Black
Like
Lagoon.
what
I
the
think she
female
would be an amazing biopic.
Well, that's the thing that just like goes unnoticed. And
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I think a victim of their own times. Like, did she not get credit and someone else got credit?
It was Bud Westmore who got credit.
Yeah, and that's
and she was working for
right.
his studio.
Yeah,
and when it was his studio, and he ran things his way, but he did not like the attention that she was Millicent Patrick designed the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Having a woman design your character in the 50s or 60s or whatever, like, you don't want that.
Now, if I were to direct that movie, I would hire a woman designer just to carry that legacy through.
If I were to direct that movie, I would.
If I were to direct that movie,
I would hire the actual creature from the Black Lagoon to play the creature from the Black Lagoon.
You would see. That's smart. See, that's a smart.
No more documentary style filmmaking. I want to get the real creature.
I want the real thing.
I want the real Bigfoot. I want the real Loch Ness monster. You guys don't get it.
Listen, you don't get it.
They said that to me at a dinner.
Okay, so since I'm going to show some cool stuff, figured I'll solo this out. But I'm at the point here where I'm like, okay, I got to work on the wings. I figure I'm going to just go ahead and fuse the wings to the body.
What, are you going to Dynamesh them, or are you going to keep them?
I'm going to Dynamesh it in. What do you think?
Oh, nice. It's a point of no return.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
I mean, I would leave them separate, render it, see if it works, and then push them in if you really need to.
My thought is like I'm gonna pose this and then possibly do multiples, like put them in a scene with multiple creatures.
Yeah. So you want less subtools?
I want less subtools, but do I want to pay the price for like having to pose that?
In ZBrush, no. I mean,
it's not bad. It's not like I'm doing
that. That's up to you, man. Like, we both work a little differently in that way.
But if I don't, it just means I have to pose those wings, over and over and over again.
Or you have the option of taking the wings away or making them different or somehow resolution to it, because you're looking at, the resolution you have on your character now, it's going to increase based off of the detail that you have on your wings. So
he's like 7 million right now.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Me and my friends, we used to say, it's not bad. It's not good.
It's not good.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad. Well, maybe I'll just keep them separate for now.
Yeah, dude. I'm always down with that. Get your test in, see if it works, and then slam it in.
But it would just be so much easier to like not have to pose the wings.
Well, then don't pose them, Jared.
I have to make it difficult on myself.
Not only are you making it difficult on you, Jared, you're making it difficult on me.
I don't want that, Matt. I don't want that. Been using the cloth pull brush for all this wingy goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite brushes.
Yeah, that's all I use. I use that, and I use the nudge every now and then.
A little nudge?
Oh yeah, dude. And then the transpose cloth is a big deal.
Yeah.
Also, what I've noticed with this is if you mask off any area, it takes it into account for tension. So if you were to draw a mask around the areas where the arms are, and like enlarge your brush scale or whatever, it'll kind of push towards that.
Yeah. So it's so just like when they introduced the cloth stuff, that was it for Creature Guys. We're like, oh, finally.
Dude, we have a dynamic solver.
Oh, so cool. in
Yeah.
ZBrush, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Love it.
Insane. Let's see.
Okay, I'm looking. What are we at?
I'm
11:30?
going back because this ZBrush stream isn't as risque as the last one. Well, we should up the risque factor.
Well, I think that's all dependent on not us.
Look, I like looking at men. Let's see.
I think we're limited to maybe like 0 F words. I'm not sure.
Well, look, it's not for kids.
Listen, they're
It's not
stanzas,
Milky Wilkinson's.
and they're not. Well, dude, if you're born with Milky Wilkinson's disease, you need to go to a doctor.
You need to go to the doctor. Don't wait around. Don't look it up on the internet.
Does this ever happen to you? What kind of machine do I run? I bought a computer at Best Buy. I bought a $2,000 computer at Best Buy a year ago because my 5-year-old one was melting. But you know, I mean, I dumped a shitload of RAM in there. It's no big deal. But I overclocked it and watched my CPU just melt into oblivion.
Just like caught fire.
It really, dude, I'll tell you, man, like, you need to make a PC for what you need. I'm in a bad spot to where I get hired for concept, which is all GPU, and production, which is all CPU, right? And nowadays it's like, dude, if you want me to render something, like, that's just a bad idea. Let's just go to cloud. Let's just go to cloud rendering at that point.
You're doing ZBrush. You're doing ZBrush turnarounds.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I'm talking like anime, you know, because I do a lot of look dev and production work.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, can we get a turntable? Can we get a, you know, this shot rendered? And I'm like, well, I mean, if you want to wait like forever, you know, we just need to do it on the cloud. That's why
Shouldn't have bought a $4,000 printer. Could have bought a $4,000 computer.
Oh well, I'd rather spend more money on the. And also, don't discourage me from buying a printer. What is wrong with you?
No, I would never do that.
You just did it.
I'm gonna put the link for for the vendor for my machine. I'm gonna put that in the chat. So I went to a company called
and put the link to Best Buy in there too, because that's where I got my
just to
machine.
be fair, 100% fair here, fairness.
How to ZRemesh unsymmetrical object.
There you go, Best Buy.
Thank you.
So in case you guys need a new headphone or something,
dude, just unify your mesh. Control click on your timeline, ZRemesh it with symmetry on, and then project history.
Wait, what?
This guy was asking how to.
No, I know the question. What? Wait, you have a trick for that?
Dude, I mean, the new thing now is like you just control click on the timeline.
And then project.
And then project history.
Project history. Yeah.
So he's saying his mesh is asymmetrical, and I was saying unify it so that it goes to the grid, right? ZRemesh it to where it gets ZRemeshed symmetrically, and then project history. Granted, we haven't seen his mesh. It might be insane. His or her mesh, their mesh. It might be insane, but, you know, going into production, you run into an infinite amount of like, oh, I got this model from a designer and it's perfect, and then you look at it and you're like, bro, this is unusable.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And then Jared, you know what you get? You get the director signed off on it, and we're like,
director.
Okay.
You're like, oh boy.
Okay. Bader. Hey, Bader.
That's why I think like the tighter you get in ZBrush anyway, the better chance there is of that 1-to-1, like from design to the final.
Dude, well, that's where I mean, that's all on client and employer. It's like, do I actually have the time? I remember you saying at Legacy, they loved giving you the time to like do your work. You know, I mean, dude, that is
like sometimes
that's insane.
Like sometimes
it's
look,
awesome.
it's sometimes it's fast. You gotta hit because you only have a day on something.
Of course.
Other times they're totally chilling. They're like, they don't. It's no pressure, so it's been really nice. I've also built up. I hit my deadlines. I communicate if something's going wrong. It's just people management as well.
It's people farmers.
The people farming. What's hard is when you've got a new client. They've never worked with you before. They may be like a little new to working with designers. So I had this happen where I was working with a newer director, and he hadn't really worked with a lot of designers, especially creatures. So you just communicate the process, and they're curious about your process too. So you have to communicate with them and be like, it takes time.
And there's power in that to let them know how much time it takes, because then dude, you run into that a lot. You run into a lot of guys that aren't familiar with 3D, and they're like, oh, well, can't you just? And it's like, well, no. I mean, it's, if you're looking at my portfolio or any of this other work, even no matter what your conception of it is, you're talking just hours and hours and hours and hours of work, and that's without needing your approval. Like, client work is insane. Like you'll spend 8 hours on something, putting your heart and soul into it, and then before you know it, like, you've got 100 different directions you need to go. And so then that's usually the time where I'm like, okay, so I'm not, he's not one of these, like, or it's not landing this way. So now we're going into fast mode. You know what I mean? Just banging it out.
There's also like the hurry up and wait sometimes where
I'm right there right now too.
Yeah. Where they're like, we need stuff now. You submit it, and then you hear nothing.
Yeah, you just imagine they're behind doors for like 24 hours. Like, I don't know about this one part. What about this? Is he too big? Is he too small?
Because it's got to go up that chain. It's got to go up It's got to go up those tiers, and they got people they got to talk to. Got to get got to have those conversations. So you'll actually get like you may even get like 2 or 3 days where you've submitted stuff you didn't even get like a thank you, and you're just like, what is going on?
Dude, that's the stuff that bugs me out whenever whenever I don't even get like a hey, I received your message. I'm like following up. I'm like, did you get the stuff? Do you have my stuff?
I don't even care if like you like it or not. Just tell me you got it.
Yeah.
Tell me that just tell me that it's happening.
Yeah, I'm delivering my model to VFX, and I got a message like 3 days later. They're like, hey, they're not on that version of ZBrush. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just export it as 100 different file formats and get it to you. And man, I've just been waiting. I'm like, dude, I hope that they got it.
Yeah, there is that thing. There is a relief though when you get to deliver to VFX.
Oh, dude, that's the number one.
That is like the sweetest feeling, because you're like, it's out of my hands, it's gone. Good night, goodbye.
And that means that because by that time you've done a turnaround of your damn model.
Yeah, you've got.
And that means the director was like, "Yo, that's tight. Let's take it. Let's do it." And that's, that's that.
It's a nice.
That makes you know that it's like 100%. You're like, okay, dope. If anything, this is going to change like 10%, or probably get scrapped from the entire movie.
Yeah. You don't know where it will be willing to kill your babies, because they will. They will kill them.
Yeah, don't be willing. Be adamant about killing your babies.
Yeah, because it's gonna happen. So I'm extending the neck on this guy a little bit, just because his body's colliding kind of with everything. Let's check in. So I've got gnarly back. It's not just like a boring skinny back, but now he's got some like gnarly pustules in there.
It's disgusting, dude.
What if it was just like a bunch of acne as well?
Have you thought about just putting a bunch of weird geo inside of those, like floating balls of maybe it's an egg sac, like an arachnid or something.
Well, it did like occur to me gremlins, like they grow up off their back.
Yeah.
But I want him to be filled with fluid. So like and maybe it's like a bile smelling fluid. Like
that's just a gross word.
Bile.
No, fluid.
Fluid. Well,
they're filled with fluid. That's
milky, gross. Yellow fluid.
Yeah, like because what your mom used to make.
Because like one of my favorite things is like when an actor, when they kill the creature, or the creature gets killed and they just get sprayed with goo.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh my god, and it's just like the worst.
Oh, dude, I remember the first time, I saw the classics at a young age, but I remember watching Alien and seeing the android just having that milky white.
Yes.
That was just disturbing. It's so
really
foreign. Gross. It was so foreign and so disturbing. And it wasn't yellow. It was like this weird.
It was milk. It was like.
Yeah, it was like, it was just creamer and gelatin.
Or right? It looked, that's one of those memorable things, about it is he took an android, something that had only been like robots, metal men from Mars. And he's like, no, I'm going to put milk in it. I'm going to make it milky.
Jared, will you read this last question out loud?
Have you guys popped or cleaned fatty tumors off an elderly dog? I have not. It's like rancid cottage cheese with a bit of red and yellow mixed in it. That's disgusting.
It's kind of turning me on, right?
Yeah. What?
He said, yeah. What?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. One more time, please.
Say what now? No, I've never cleaned an elderly dog. I've had an elderly dog.
My best friend and roommate is an occupational therapist, and
he works on elderly.
He works with special needs children and elderly people. And the stories he tells me coming home, Jesus. I mean, literally nightmares.
Yeah, that that is a calling, I feel like, and it's beautiful. Like
Alex is like, dude, stop. He's like, stop, dude, please.
It's interesting.
Sorry, Alex.
Since I extended the neck out, it's taken on kind of a bird feeling.
Yeah, it has that angular face. It's got a little bit of an angular face. And that, it almost feels kind of like
it's got a little vulture-y.
Yeah, a little vulture neck. Are you gonna add some skin flaps?
I'm not. I wasn't, but maybe we do some skin flaps.
He's kind of got that rooster language on his forehead. Just the weird kind of knobule.
Yeah.
Might be kind of cool to pump some more kind of avian language into there.
The turkey waddle kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we did a turkey. So
we did do a turkey.
We did do a turkey.
Well, I didn't do a turkey. You
didn't do a turkey. But I did a turkey. So it's like maybe.
I do remember you being like, what should I do? And I was like, thanks killing. And you were like, perfect.
I was like, that's it. Because we can do that. We can make whatever we want from our minds. We have that power. Let's check in with Matt Millard's Cthulhu.
Oh man, just I'm taking a break from the arms. I got, some basic stuff in here, connective tissue wise. I still got to go back in and do more of the finite striations, but I'm not going to get too crazy with it. I'm eager to see how far I want to take the tertiary detail, Like I don't know if I want to go in. I don't know if I want to go in here. Yeah, I don't know if I want
But
to
here's
go
the
in
thing:
here.
like
And drop.
if you're gonna print it that big, it'll show.
Yeah, definitely will.
That's
Definitely will.
definitely.
Yeah.
No, it'll show up. So I say go for it.
Yeah,
Plus, I just want to see you do that.
Yeah, I think I think maybe like one or two more little sessions, I could probably be in a spot to where I could start engineering it.
I feel good. I feel like I got I got his back taken care of. It's added like a disgusting element, which makes me happy.
Yeah, it's gross, man. Like, are you wanting any hair?
Oh yeah, definitely hair. I was thinking big quills.
Oh, cool. Yeah, in between the growths or what?
Well, maybe on top of the growth, like a zit, but like there's a, at the peak of the zit, but instead
like,
there's
what is wrong with you? It's disgusting. I love it.
I'm just fascinated with all the stuff that just goes wrong on the body.
How big is it?
Like
6 foot human. How big is it?
I think he's just a little bit smaller than a human.
Yeah, I mean he's basically human sized, right?
No, a little bit smaller.
Right. Only so he's basically human.
A swarm of them would be really scary. Don't you think?
Can I do concepting even though I am not that good with anatomy? Jared, I'll let you take that one.
Well, you should definitely learn anatomy. It's the foundation for everything. So especially if you're going to do creatures, then yes, absolutely got to learn anatomy. There's a lot of similarities between human and animal anatomy. So start with human anatomy first, and start there, and then branch out from human anatomy into animal anatomy because there's a lot of similarities. The muscles are kind of laid out the same way, but just in different, kind of layout. We're vertical. Most animals are horizontal. So if you picture kind of walking on all fours, that's pretty close to animal anatomy. But I would say if you want to get into concepting in general, you don't have to do creatures. You can do environments or, vehicles, hard surface, robots, things like that. So go where your passions are. If your passion is truly creatures and characters, anatomy is just a part of that. So
yeah, man. I mean, I started drawing whenever I was a kid, and all I did was look at Mortal Kombat and Spider-Man comics, dude. And so I would just draw all of those things, and I didn't know what any of them were until I actually started studying anatomy. And I was like, oh, okay. So is it possible to concept without anatomy? Absolutely. Sure. Will your concepts work much better with anatomy? I mean, dude, that's like studying the fundamentals of your craft.
It's like music. You learn the chords, you learn the rhythms and the beats, and, things like that. There's
the rhythms and the beats. Yeah,
the rhythms and the beat. I am not a music person, Matthew.
That is accurate, but I loved hearing you make the music analogies. I like it a lot.
I like
the rhythms.
I like sports analogies better because they're easier to understand. When you first start off with sports, you're clumsy, you're slow, and then you work out and you get strong and you get faster.
Yeah, and then you learn the rhythms and the beats.
You learn the rhythms and the beats and how to shoot hoops. And everybody has a good time.
Okay, so Jared, a quick question.
Sure.
Just we're at the end of the night here, and in the last 3 minutes, I was thinking, what about if I put some kind of like skeletal language on this Cthulhu man, like on his head? And I just want to get your like initial read. Right.
Let's embiggen.
This is one of those things to where it's like you're just noodling around. You're like, oh, okay, well, maybe having some sort of indication of like an underlying form, even though he's gelatinous.
Oh no, I think
it's essentially kind of like questioning, like, okay, this entire time I thought he was flat and soft, but what if he's so big that he needs like some sort of a skeletal structure underneath his head?
There's a lot of Cthulhu's, a lot of interpretations of him.
Yeah.
I've seen one where he's got like the crab carapace, or
and I'm wanting to stay away from shells, but
or it's like some people go crab, some people
it's also
go straight octopus where it's just soft.
Right.
This
is also one of those things to where if I put it here, I'd have to punch it in a lot of other places.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to know, I mean, you've seen this model for months now.
Yeah.
Because I haven't worked on it in a long time, but I mean, maybe punching that in, is that, I don't know. What do you think?
I like it. Like
maybe subtle.
What would you think about it? Like an external rib cage looking kind of carapace.
Well, that's kind of I want to stay away from shells. I want to stay away from shell. I'm thinking maybe flesh over bone.
No, well, what about bone over flesh?
I don't want to do like external. I don't think.
Okay, so it's all
external. Yeah.
Okay.
Not for this guy.
We're spitballing, baby.
Oh, dude, that's how it works.
That's how it works. We spitball.
Because I mean, dude, the second not for this design. Not for this design.
Yeah.
Because I get it. He is
yours is a very. I mean, it's a traditional Cthulhu.
It is. I mean, it's kind of a classic. It's kind of a classic interpretation, but
I mean, I think where you've taken liberties, you've taken liberties, and like he's obviously very meaty and strong. Like he's buff.
He's just a big chunky.
He's got a lot of his forms are a little rounder, a little more bulbous. Like so, it seems like he's muscular. Like this dude is gonna like stand up and punch you into madness with his fist. His fist of madness.
His fist of madness.
Be kind of rad.
I think I like the more subtle indications.
Yeah.
It's very subtle.
Yes, super subtle.
Like some subtle.
No, I like
know. It's a
I like
one.
I like it. I think what'll help is if you put some things for scale, like little barnacles.
Yeah, man, we're not there yet, but
you're not there yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like,
I think what I'll do is I'll break it up to where
with barnacles, I would definitely do a vignette brush.
Oh yeah. I'll make one of those for sure.
For shizzle.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just.
But yeah, no, I like the.
I think I'll keep it subtle. That's one thing that I like about ZBrush is you can take it all the way in some crazy direction. And then just roll that slider back.
You gotta kind of push it back a little bit.
You know what I mean?
But I always find that's helpful anyway. It's like over sculpt and then knock it down.
Yeah, and I do a lot of morph target work whenever I start getting into any of that tertiary stuff. Like I store a morph target and I'm in between layers. I'm doing all sorts of. Because, I mean, dude, at that point, you're probably pretty pleased with where your thing's at, and you're adding that extra level, but you don't want that extra level to take away from your primary and secondary forms. You know what I mean?
You gotta keep pushing on them.
But the other thing is
I always get scared, storing a morph target or storing a layer because I always end up like changing the primary forms again.
Yeah.
I always end up tweaking them a little bit more.
I love layers in ZBrush. It took me years, but after being in production and having to do like so many things to where you're designing in production, it's like, okay, well, like I need to keep my UVs and I need to make serious changes just to see
if you have
director.
UVs, there's no way you can do that without a layer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
there are ways, but you're talking just like 300% more work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh God. And God help you if you bake the wrong layer down.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine giving that to your rigging artist that already has 300 blend shapes that you've already sculpted for 120 hours.
Oh my God. Just murder. See, that's some stuff that I hope gets some more support. Layers I think are broken in ZBrush, and I think that's something that I hope gets a little bit of love.
Comics legend. Yes, he will have all sorts of sea louse and barnacles on him by the time it is done.
Yeah, you gotta. He's Cthulhu.
He is Cthulhu. You say Cthulhu, I say tomato. That's okay.
I like your scene where he's above the mountains too, but I definitely think you need like the underwater shot with the dude.
Yeah, the underwater shot. That's a good one.
Where he waits dreaming in Raleigh.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's where he's asleep.
That's
where he takes his nap.
That's his nappy time.
And that's what I'm thinking about. Like, okay, so maybe, I guess.
Does he have like a blanket of like sea urchin or something?
Well, I want to make a throne for him for sure.
Throne for sure.
I want it to be like these ancient ones that served him, like they like the pyramids and all that.
The lesser gods.
They sculpted an entire area for him to take a nap in. You know what I mean?
Really cool.
But I was also thinking,
like, nobody's ever like sculpted me like a throne of mountains where I can take a nap.
We want a throne of mountains. That's
a throne of mountains. A mountain throne.
And that's what I'm thinking is like, we got this dude, but what if we did the Dark Souls guy? The only thing that's the issue with the Dark Souls guy is that Cthulhu's huge.
He's
depending on what sources you check. The man is huge.
I mean, he's kaiju sized, right?
Oh, dude! I mean, he's a monster.
He's like
absolutely.
I always picture, he's at least as big, or if not bigger than Godzilla.
Yeah, I want to make like a big scary sword for this guy, and have him face off with either some sort of other Dark Souls kind of themed monster or Cthulhu. Set up like some sort of giant, really wide kind of anamorphic shot where he's holding some sort of huge sword.
That turned out really cool.
Facing off against this guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Because he'll be mad. Yeah, this is coming along. Dude, I actually, you might be selling me on it. It's one of those, just that kind of skeletal language. That's one of those things that, it's what we were talking about. It's like you just kind of got to go for it and just see if it works. It's a truism
of creatures that the more skull-like something looks, the more terrifying it is.
I mean, dude, skeletal is the number one language.
It always feels a little easy when you do it.
It's also one of those things that you see get pushed like really hard.
Yeah.
Like you just have like creatures. You just have creatures with just exposed jaws now and exposed eye sockets, and
just like like this guy is all exposed.
Exactly, but I mean, you can see the flesh on that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you get those. I mean, that is a really good example, but it's like, dude, it's immediately scary because it's the form that is incomplete, right? That everybody knows.
Everybody, I mean, a skull is such a rudimentary thing. You know, we have skulls inside of us right now.
And some people have normal human skulls. Some people, they might have more reptilian skulls. We don't know.
They got lumpy skulls.
They got you got to get
Some
them.
people
lumpies.
got lumpies.
They need lumpies.
They got lumpies and bumpies. There is an actual name for that too. When get the lumpies in there. Actually, it looks like your brain lumpies.
Oh, are you talking about like whenever you got that forehead that? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That
Yeah,
you
yeah.
end up looking like a pit bull. Ugh.
Yeah.
That stuff is scary, bro. That's crazy. Dude, like orangutans, man, it just looks like a brain.
Yeah.
Like their wrinkles in their forehead just looks like a brain.
Now that I've added that like third level, that next detail, I think that's what really helped kind of define the next stage of this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Before that,
I love the stuff on the neck is giving it
Yeah.
kind of personality, like that visceral. It's like a visceral feel.
that's what's helped kind of differentiate this guy, because prior to this detail, it was like very, it's a creature. He's got long fingers, but now he's got something different about him. So
Yeah,
we
I
call
love
that,
it,
whatever that magic third ingredient is. And I think going irradiated was the right choice, because creatures can, they can exist for, multiple different reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
This guy could have just evolved that way. And if he had evolved, I probably wouldn't have kept the cancerous kind of lesions.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's like, like deers and armadillo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically their body responding to a cancer in their bloodstream, and they were able to process it, and they made something over thousands of years. Like, it evolved into something that they ultimately learned how to use to their advantage.
They just deal with it. Nature's so weird.
Are we re-topologying the retopoing?
Are we going to retopo?
I mean, depends on what you want to do,
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a simple retop on this guy, because I'm gonna eventually want to pose him and into different, because right now we've got pretty much the creature's getting close to being done. But the next stage is when we retopo it, project it, texture it. I'm just gonna poly paint it. Nothing super complex. We'll do we'll do some fiber mesh coming off the sky as well, because that'll help break up the silhouette. Now fibers I'll do in between these little cracks here, because that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And
gross. Hate it. Hate it. Will be cool. Love
it. Some fibers will definitely help break up the silhouette in an interesting way. And then once we've got our topology, then we can subdivide that and push to that like that tertiary, quaternary level of detail, like really fine details.
Quintitionary, sesquicenary, sexticennaries.
I looked it up. Quaternary is a real word.
Yeah, that's what penguins are, right? They're quaternary animals.
They're quaternary? You mean quautious?
Oh. I'm just being stupid, man.
Stupid. It's getting late, so it's stupid. Let's any questions? Let's go ask some questions.
Yeah. Ask us some questions.
Ask us questions.
Ask me what's wrong with me.
What's wrong? That's a whole thing. That's like a whole. We have to like think about that. Talk with our therapist.
I talk with my therapist every Monday.
Does the monkey bird dinosaur technically have an exposed tailbone, or is that like a small tail or something?
Monkey bird dinosaur is. I like that.
He's definitely like a sandwich of a lot of different monsters in there. Yeah, I figure it's like a very, small vestigial tail. Like not particularly like useful, but it's still there. And it's got lumpy on it.
Yeah, it's left over from previous generations.
Vestigial.
Whenever they were swimming. Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of minutes ago. When dinosaurs roamed Earth. Gotta round out that tail a little bit. Oh, it's okay. It's a monkey bird dinosaur. A little bit of everything. He's definitely got, since extending the neck, and he's definitely added some more bird-like features.
Yeah, it definitely does have kind of an avian, just to its like draft, the draft of it.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. How much time did it take to get to this level? We're at 12. I'm going on 12 years.
Nailed it.
So it's a long time. It took me, I think, 2 years. After Gnomon, it took me, because I was not happy with the work I was doing at Gnomon. But that's not what it was for. It was for learning the software and learning anatomy and things like that. Once I put all that knowledge into action, it took me 2 years to get good in my mind, where I thought like I was like feeling confident and hitting peaks, because you will hit peaks and valleys, ups and downs. You will hit plateaus where you're continuing on and you feel like you're doing the same level of work, but you will hit peaks occasionally, and when you do, it's amazing because you feel like there's growth. I'm going to put Matt on since I'm just talking, but you will hit points where you're like, damn, maybe I do know what I'm doing, or maybe I am getting to where I want to be. And then you have plateaus where you're just like, I'm doing okay. And then you hit moments where you're like, you see someone else's sculpt and they're like, oh, they're way good. They're way better.
Yeah, that's always the humbling factor, and it's always the accelerant, right? Like the catalyst.
Yeah.
You're like, man, they're like, oh, well, so-and-so is doing this and this, and you look at it and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Julie, like this
there's always someone who's young and amazing, and they just pick up the software and they're I don't know, just let the screensaver from ZBrush run for a minute.
Yeah.
Feel real.
Right.
You'll feel real humble real quick.
It'll just really hurt your feelings, man. That's what that's designed. They have designed it to hurt your feelings.
No, it's funny because they're like, hey, look at what our users are doing. And you're like, oh, they're amazing.
You're like, wow, I'm surprised I don't work at Walgreens.
Doing full Renaissance sculpting, like Renaissance level rendering and sculpting to where they look like paintings. And it's amazing. So you're still humbled, and every so often, like a friend will post something, and you're like, "Oh my god, you're ridiculous! You're a ridiculous level of amazing." But that's also what the beauty of art is, right? Like, is it's just you against yourself. Right, Matt?
I'll tell you what's right. I will tell you exactly what's right. And that is before the start screen comes up in Mortal Kombat 1, if you press ABACABB, you unlock the blood code. And that is a fact.
Let me ask you about the blood code.
Okay.
When did you have that memorized?
1992, the year that game came out.
Wow.
I was 5 years old.
Mortal Kombat, the first one.
Yep. Wow. Came out at the end of 1992. Actually, I take it back. It was probably 93 by the time by the time anyone figured it out. Because back then, I mean, you had like there were no ways to get secrets on these games, man.
Yeah. I had Game Genie, and
Oh, dude, yeah, Game Genie.
remember you had to buy like a walkthrough at a bookstore.
Yeah, you had to get like the strategy guides.
I still have mine from Link to the Past. All those years.
Nice, dude. I remember whenever I was a kid, I would go to the neighborhood Walmart or neighborhood Kroger, and I would steal the discs or steal the codes out of the magazines.
Yes, everybody did that because oh god, that was the worst. Is you bought a magazine, that's why you had to get them sealed.
Yeah.
Because if they were sealed, you knew no one stole the disc.
Yeah, and I mean the amount of times, man, I would go to Blockbuster and be like, "Yo, I want to play Counter-Strike." I was also very poor. Those are the good old days, though. Like running down the street to your friends and being like, "Dude, have you ripped someone's head off in Mortal Kombat yet?"
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when it came out for Super Nintendo and Genesis.
See, okay.
And Genesis had the more bloody version. I had the Super Nintendo at home.
Oh, dude, I feel so bad for you. I feel so bad for you.
I know.
Oh, it hurts my feelings. I'm crying.
I eventually got a Genesis, and it was
okay.
Eventually, but for a time, it did hurt.
No, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, you should.
Well, now you know why I am the way I am.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. A kid shouldn't grow up that way. Having the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat.
Dude.
Look at this face. It's right. You see that? Where is it at? I got a Sub-Zero. I got a Scorpion. Get everything I need. Okay, don't play it on Super Nintendo. It's not worth it.
But, Sega had, they had some amazing ports. Like their Aladdin was way better.
Oh, dude, Aladdin, Lion King. I mean,
they were hard.
Dude, they were super hard. You're talking about
super hard.
Talking about Turtles in Time. Those are on both. That was on Nintendo, I think, as well.
I think I will say that Turtles in Time was better on Super Nintendo.
Battletoads, infamously one of the hardest games ever made.
Battletoads was mean. That was mean.
I spent so much time in the arcades as a child.
Booger Man?
Dude, Primal Rage. He already knows. Primal Rage, Killer Instinct. I mean, Rare Software, they were doing work back then, dude.
It's criminal that we have not gotten like a proper Primal Rage.
Well, they got bought out by Bungie, right?
And Bungie's done nothing.
Yeah, well, they did Halo, and they did make a no, not Primal Rage. What was the one? Killer Instinct. They re-released a Killer Instinct, but it was more Street Fighter than anything.
Yeah, it was. They took the DNA out of it.
Yeah, because that was Rare Software that made that.
Yeah, Rare. That's right.
Yeah.
Growing
up, I was like, I want to work for Midway. I want to make Mortal Kombat games. That's what I wanted to do whenever I was a kid.
Make Mortal Kombat games?
Then I played Resident Evil.
It was over.
I was like, oh God, it's happening.
So when you were at Noman, you were thinking games?
No. Well, initially I was thinking games. But I don't know about initially. I think I was in, you're in your first year and they're like, hey, take these introductory kind of, intro to Maya, intro to this. And you have some time to kind of decide. And I think in my first couple of semesters, I was very lucky to be able to get into a game class. And I did fine in it. But by that time, I think I was already married to production. I was just thinking Terminator, Jurassic Park, like all this, like the timeless films that you watch. And then whenever I got into
visual effects, kind of like heavy hitters.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I grew up watching movies, and I love playing video games.
You worked at a Blockbuster, for God's sakes.
I mean, for the love of God, Your Honor, this man worked at a Blockbuster.
He's making his case. Listen to the man.
Oh, dude, Clay Fighters. Yeah, he knows what's up.
Clay Fighter was dope. I
Mm-hmm.
love that game.
My favorite is Scorpion. Yeah.
Booger Man.
Dude,
What about
love
Booger
Booger Man. Dude, Booger Man was great. Booger Man was in the the same vein as Earthworm Jim, Mr.
Yeah,
Cool
yeah, yeah.
Spot. All of those
Very Spot. Remember
Yeah.
Spot?
Yeah,
7
there's
Up
Mr. Cool's like the
Ah.
7 Up guy.
7 Up guy.
He was the 7 Up mascot,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, he was
That's-
the 7 Up mascot.
Remember the unicycle game? It was
No.
just a unicycle.
Dude. No,
No,
you're making
Too
that
good.
up.
too good for it.
I've never heard of or played that game.
Shut up, really?
I swear. I swear.
Unicycle game.
The unicycle game.
It was
Jared.
a unicycle. Frosty in Clay.
Dude, that's like Duck Hunt minus
someone
like
in the
2
chat
of
help
the
me. It was the
subjects of Duck
What
Hunt.
was the name of the unicycle game? It's a unicycle, and he like unicycles in a circus.
Are you
Remember?
just playing as a sentient unicycle? Is that what you're doing? That's what I'm confused about. Is
You
that
have
what you're
to know
describing?
You have to know this game.
Are you? Oh, holy crap, dude! Are you talking about Game and Watch? Are you talking about Game and Watch?
No.
Oh man, dude! I thought I was hitting gold.
A unicycle game. Uniracers.
Oh, see, you're a psycho. You are a full-blown psycho.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Jared's like, I had 2 games. It was Leisure Suit Larry and Unicycle Madness.
God,
What's it called?
I remember Leisure Suit Larry on the Macintosh, the old
Oh,
Macintosh.
yeah, the computers.
Yeah.
The creepy uncle always had that game.
What's funny is like we remember like the invention of computers,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
for like computers and like the internet. Like we saw all that.
Bro, it was everybody had a family computer before
Yes.
computers were computers, right? It was like that was the one thing you
It
had.
was in the family room or it was
Mhm.
in the parents' office.
Dude, and mine
you
had
had to
the
ask.
you had that like clear plastic cover over the whole thing to make
Yes.
sure it didn't get dirty, bro.
Blowing on a floppy disk, you know.
Dang.
But like the way it's changed from like, you know, it was here is this lauded family computer, and people would fight over like time on the internet.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And hey, I'm on the phone.
Because it would,
you
yeah,
know.
I'm on the phone. Oh god, the phone would
Oh my god,
would
dude.
interfere with the internet access.
Oh my
So
god.
someone would be like, "Get off the phone! I'm on the landline."
Yeah, 56K, baby.
What are you even doing on there? And we saw that go from like that to everybody has a high-powered computer in their pocket.
Yeah, it went from my parents are going to page me if I'm out too late, and I'll go to a payphone and call them and let them know I'm on the way to. And my parents are tracking me with a GPS on my iPhone.
You're telling them how, like, please stop sending me memes.
Mhm.
Or-
Please stop sending me memes,
Please-
Your Honor.
Please stop tagging me in Facebook posts.
Yeah, it's awful.
They're
I
like-
hate it. You're embarrassing.
Uh,
Dude, that's a whole nother level of embarrassing, man.
Oh god. Yeah. Online.
All right,
Online.
dude, it might be time for me. What time is it? Yeah.
Wait, what?
12.
You cooked?
Dude, I mean, it's almost 12:30 here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's probably a good time.
Okay, well, I mean,
Let's do the check-in.
yeah, sure.
Maybe that's our new segment. We do the check-in.
It's a check-in.
It's a check-in.
It's a check-in.
Matt, we're doing a check-in.
Jared, I don't know if you know this, but it's a check-in.
We're gonna do the check-in.
Someone needs to do a check-in.
Moose boost.
You gotta juice your moose.
Got to juice. We're going to juice the moose.
So how to delete the IMM brush line in viewport?
Oh, go to stroke, delete. So let me, you go to stroke and then you go to curve function. Sorry. Curve function and then just delete that curve because that curve is still showing up there. So yeah. I have it set up here to my hotkey. I have a little hotkey for that. All right, let's do the check-in. So this is where we started. This is where we started today. Goal was pretty much finish up some of the main body sculpting, add some like fascia, some veins, veinage, just kind of finish up the general body stuff. And then I wanted to add like a disgusting kind of third element to it and deal with the wings a little bit. So this is where we ended up, and it ended up kind of, it's starting to go towards avian, more bird-like. So that's kind of fun. Happy accident, right?
Yeah.
But it's still got very human ears, and I think that's neat.
Oh, it's great. We love that human ear.
Maybe I'll give him, like a big nose. What do you think? Like him, like a big,
just a giant,
like as a version.
Grew from as a version.
Yeah, like hear me out. Just I got to play with it real quick. Just like as a version.
Does he need a bill?
No, not a bill so much, but I was thinking like a full.
You just put in a human nose right there.
Just a full human nose.
Like a carrot nose, like a snowman.
See, what's interesting is this gives him this goes into Goblin Shark immediately.
Yeah, 100%. Or also like a really scary children's book where like where some dude is like, I can smell your socks.
Oh, you're right. Then it goes to fantasy. Children.
Yeah, he goes to fantasy.
That's interesting. That's a crazy fast genre shift right there.
Dude, just the shape language on things. That's why it takes so long to design stuff. They can look weak, strong, scary, just with like the simplest changes to the T-zone.
That's interesting.
Well, because you're adding more personality because there was no flesh there in the first place, right?
Good point. That's interesting. As a version, maybe we'll try it out. But now without the nose, of course, we're back to Scary Creature Town.
Love Scary Creature Town. It's a good town to be in.
No, I mean, like, I'm pleased with progress. So, that's pretty much it, Matt. Let's see your Cthulhu.
Hey man, this is where we're at. Really just kind of, I did some interesting work on the head. I've added a little bit of some ridging, some subtle kind of interpretive anatomy. I haven't pushed it too far, but it is, different.
It's coming along real nice. Where
I was, yeah, it's looking cool. I think it'll print really nice. I'm ready to, one or two more sessions. I have accidentally gone all the way back in my history. So,
so we'll say goodnight to yours.
Yeah,
we'll see you.
My computer's gonna explode. It's totally fine.
All right. Well, let's.
We're good.
Oh, you made it.
I'll print them nice and big. It'll be fun to, get him to turn his head a little bit and maybe move an arm or something like that. You know what I mean? That'll be cool.
Yeah, once you get that head turn,
get a pose on him.
That'll add so much. To it.
Yeah, and I think next round I'll do this kind of creased skin ribbing on the arms, and then I'll just go full tertiary everywhere else, and then work on his throne. Right? Get ready for printing.
I like it, dude. That's gonna be, that's gonna be great.
That's gonna be dope.
Giant print. You're gonna have to like engineer it carefully because you don't want that print to fail.
Yeah, and Jared, it'll probably fail.
It's gonna fail. That's just because that's the nature of 3D printing.
And that's how it works.
You know,
You gotta screw it up at least 30 times before.
at least 30 to 40 times. Waste so much fluid and all that horrible nonsense.
Oh man, I'm hoping that the new technology and the new resin will, especially with all of the previous experience I have on working with like kind of a.
Well, they're getting faster. The
Mhm.
materials are better, more ecological.
Yeah.
You know, which is great because 3D printing is awesome and fun.
Yeah, dude. I wanna make some. I want to make some molds of it and reproduce it. Get like a painting set up and
Actually,
paint it. You know what I
self
mean? Yeah, that would be really cool, man. That'd be really cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you to Lenovo, our sponsor, for sponsoring Creature Corner. Thanks to Noman School of Visual Effects for having us hang out and talk about horrible things. Thanks to Matt Millard for being my co-host and coming and hanging out. And thank you to all of you guys who come and hang out with us while we sculpt horrible monsters. We appreciate it. Hey, hit us up sometime on Twitter. That's my handle. And then Matt is also Itchy Tasty on Twitter.
You know I am.
But we're also around on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else that everybody else is as well. So if you have any thoughts, you want to some stuff that maybe down the line you'd like to see us do, I think we attempt like a fan sculpt or some fan art would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I mean, we can, we've got a million things to make, so it's going to be so exciting.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get some special guests down the line as well. So thank you all. Good night. Good luck. And, keep making monsters.
Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of the night.